Hello, my lovely listeners. Today I want to start this video by thanking three incredible women: Jessica Moore from Mobile, Alabama, Amanda Lewis from Provo, Utah, and Rachel Simmons from Ithaca, New York. Your support truly keeps these stories alive. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because if you're not subscribed, YouTube may not show you the ending of this video. So tell me, what city are you listening from right now? Matthew Ellis walked briskly along the rain-slicked sidewalks of downtown Seattle, the December chill seeping through his wool coat like insistent fingers, seeking out every hidden vulnerability. At 38, he had grown accustomed to armoring himself against both the physical bite of Pacific Northwest winters and the quieter ache that came with raising his 6-year-old daughter Sophia alone. The city lights reflected in puddles, casting fractured glows across the pavement, while the distant hum of ferry horns carried from Elliott Bay on the wind. "Daddy, can we get hot chocolate?" Sophia tugged at his hand, her curly blonde hair escaping her cream-colored hat, cheeks flushed pink against the cold. Matthew checked his watch. A conference call loomed in 45 minutes. Quarterly reports waited on his phone alongside 3 urgent emails from his assistant. Yet looking down at her hopeful face, something inside him softened, the way sunlight might pierce heavy clouds over the sound. "Just a quick stop," he said gently. "Then we need to get you home before the rain turns to sleet." As CEO of Ellis Capital, Matthew commanded boardrooms and navigated billions in portfolios. But the role that truly anchored him was the small, warm hand clutching his as they navigated the crowded holiday shoppers seeking shelter from the downpour. His wife Jessica had passed 3 years earlier in a sudden accident, a careless driver on a rain-slicked highway. Since then, Matthew had rebuilt his world around one truth: Sophia was everything. The Starbucks near Pike Place Market offered welcome warmth, its interior scented with cinnamon, vanilla, and fresh coffee. He ordered Sophia's hot chocolate with extra whipped cream and a black coffee for himself, trying to ignore the vibration of incoming messages. "Can I have a cookie too?" Sophia asked, eyes fixed on the pastry case. Before he could respond, she pressed her face to the window, breath fogging the glass in small clouds. "Daddy, look." Across the street, at a bus stop bench exposed to the wind-driven rain, sat a young woman no older than 25. Her blonde hair hung limp and damp around her face, but Matthew's heart clenched at the bundle in her arms, a tiny infant, perhaps 3 or 4 months old, wrapped in a thin blanket and a worn sweater. The woman hunched protectively over the baby, shielding it from the elements. But even from across the street, Matthew could see her shivering violently, lips tinged blue. The infant appeared mercifully asleep. But the mother's posture spoke of exhaustion deeper than the cold. "Daddy," Sophia whispered urgently, voice small yet certain. "Her baby is freezing." The familiar walls rose inside Matthew. Practical concerns, risk assessments, the knowledge that Seattle held countless people in need. He donated generously to charities and shelters, but personal involvement carried complications, potential danger. You couldn't save everyone. Yet Sophia's hand squeezed his tighter. "Mommy would have helped them." The words landed like a sudden gust of cold wind, piercing his defenses. Jessica had embodied that fearless compassion, stopping for veterans, keeping snacks in her purse, volunteering at women's shelters despite Matthew's worries about safety. Sophia had inherited that same bone-deep conviction that people mattered more than comfort or convenience. Matthew looked at his daughter, then back at the woman, the rain falling harder now, temperature dropping as wind howled between buildings. "Stay right here," he told Sophia, guiding her to a chair inside. "Don't move." He crossed the street quickly, coat collar turned up against the biting cold that stung his face and hands. When he reached the bench, the young woman looked up with hollow, exhausted eyes, the faint scent of damp wool and desperation clinging to her. "Hi," Matthew said softly, voice steady against the rain's patter. "I'm Matthew. My daughter and I saw you from across the street. It's getting dangerously cold. Do you have somewhere warm to go? Her arms tightened around the baby. We're fine. But her voice trembled, revealing the lie. I don't mean to intrude, he continued gently. But that little one. I have a daughter about 6. I remember how fragile they are at that age. Babies can't regulate their own warmth. This weather is dangerous. The woman's face crumpled, tears mixing with rain on her cheeks, exposing raw terror beneath her attempt at control. I know, she whispered, voice breaking. I know. The shelter is full. They said maybe tomorrow, but Mia, she's so cold. Silence stretched between them, heavy with unspoken fears, the rain drumming steadily on the bench like accusations. I'm going to help you, Matthew heard himself say. Both of you. I have a car. I can take you somewhere warm. A hotel, another shelter, wherever you need. I don't have money for a hotel. I didn't ask if you did. He pulled out his phone, the screen glowing softly in the dimming light. Please, my daughter is watching, and she'll never forgive me if I walk away. The woman, Lauren, she finally told him, hesitated long moments, tears freezing on her lashes. Then she nodded. Matthew crossed back, Sophia's anxious face pressed to the glass. Is the baby okay? She asked immediately. Her name is Mia, and she's cold and scared, like her mama. We're going to help them. But first, I need you to be very grown up. They're strangers, so we stay smart and safe. Can you do that? Sophia nodded solemnly. Like when Mommy helped people. Exactly like that. His driver brought the car around, warm air blasting as they helped Lauren inside. Sophia scooting over to chatter about her stuffed animals and how maybe Mia would like to see them. The leather seats smelled faintly of Sophia's strawberry shampoo, contrasting the chill clinging to Lauren's clothes. In the car, Matthew made calls while rain lashed the windows. Hotels offered only temporary shelter. Lauren needed resources, support, a real path. Forward. He reached his friend Robert, a board member of a non-profit. It's 5 on a Friday, everything's closed. Then we open something. There's an infant involved. Tell me how to use my resources. By the time they reached his spacious home in Queen Anne, overlooking the city lights and distant sound, a plan had formed. Robert connected them to a transitional housing program for young mothers with an opening Monday. Matthew would cover the weekend, then facilitate the move. This is where you live? Lauren asked, staring at the elegant house as they pulled into the driveway, voice small with disbelief. It's too big for just us, Matthew admitted. But it was Jessica's, my late wife's, dream home. Sophia and I keep it for her memory. Inside, his housekeeper, Mrs. Garcia, took in the situation with calm efficiency. The guest suite upstairs, she said. I'll prepare it. And that baby needs proper care. Breastfeeding? Lauren nodded, overwhelmed. Then food, water, rest. Come with me, dear. Let's get you both warm. The evening unfolded in quiet rearrangement of Matthew's orderly life. Mrs. Garcia prepared a simple meal, its savory aroma filling the kitchen with unexpected comfort. Lauren fed Mia in the guest room's soft lamplight, while Sophia gathered blankets and toys, creating a cozy nest with earnest care. Matthew coordinated with lawyers for protections, his security team for safety, his assistant rescheduling commitments. Each call met surprise and warnings, but Sophia's voice echoed in his mind, grounding him. When Lauren emerged later, showered and in clean clothes Mrs. Garcia had found, she looked younger yet still fragile. Mia sleeping peacefully in her arms, cheeks now pink instead of pale. Thank you, she whispered, the words hanging in the warm air between them. I don't know how to. I have no words. You don't need to thank me, Matthew replied softly, gesturing for her to sit. But to help properly, I need to understand. Not to judge, just to support. Can you tell me what happened? The story emerged in halting fragments, her voice raw and low, punctuated by silences where pain pressed too heavily. She had been 22 when she met Brandon. Charming at first, attentive in ways that masked control. By the time she recognized the surveillance and escalating abuse, she was pregnant. She fled with nothing when Mia was 2 months old. I stayed with a friend briefly, Lauren said, staring at her hands trembling slightly in her lap. But her boyfriend didn't want me there. I've looked for work, but no one wants someone without references. Brandon made me quit my waitress job. No family, no money, nowhere safe. The silence that followed felt deafening, broken only by the distant rain against windows. Fear flashed across her face at the mention of Brandon. I have a restraining order, but... Matthew's jaw tightened, but his voice stayed calm. Here's what happens tonight. You and Mia rest. Tomorrow, step by step. My lawyers will strengthen protections. I have connections for work. Monday, the housing program gives stability. Lauren cried silently then, tears tracing paths down her cheeks. Why do this? You don't know me. Matthew thought of Jessica's last volunteer plans, his own frustration that day, her gentle smile. Helping others is how I help myself. It's how I teach Sophia what matters. The memory warmed him like the fire crackling softly nearby. My wife believed we're responsible for each other, he said. Finally, voice thick. Having the ability to help means the obligation. I didn't always understand, but I'm learning now. That weekend shifted something profound in Matthew's world. Lauren proved intelligent and resilient, helping Mrs. Garcia in the kitchen, playing gently with Sophia, beginning to believe in possibility. Mia thrived, her contented sounds filling rooms too long quiet. Sophia glowed with the simple joy of helping. Sunday evening, reviewing plans in his study, Matthew's phone rang. Mr. Ellis, Detective Rachel Kim, Seattle PD. We have a situation. Brandon Holloway tried accessing your property, agitated, possibly intoxicated. He's in custody, but is there a young woman and infant here? Matthew's blood chilled. Yes, Lauren Marsh and her daughter Mia, under my protection. The hours turned tense. Officers stationed outside, Lauren terrified, holding Mia, Sophia confused by the police presence. Matthew sat with Lauren in the guest room, Mrs. Garcia distracting Sophia. Downstairs. This is my fault, Lauren repeated, voice breaking. I've brought danger to your home, to Sophia. You're not leaving, he said firmly. He violated the order. He's going back. We'll make sure he stays away permanently. Why care this much? She asked, eyes searching his. Silence stretched, meaningful and heavy. Because my daughter reminded me helping is human. Because Jessica would have done the same. Because maybe I needed reminding there are things bigger than reports and meetings. Monday brought updates. Brandon held on multiple charges. Matthew took Lauren to the transitional program, where Director Carmen welcomed her warmly. You'll be safe. When ready, we'll help build the life you want. He provided initial support, his lawyer's contacts, and a promise to check in. Sophia gave Mia her favorite stuffed elephant, so she has a friend. In the car home, Sophia asked quietly, are they going to be okay? They have help now, sweetheart. People who will keep them safe. Good. Mommy would have liked them. His throat tightened. Yes, she would. Over months, Lauren transformed. The receptionist job flourished. She excelled with organization and warmth. Daycare through the program freed her evenings for online classes toward a business degree. Fear faded gradually. Smiles came easier. Mia grew into a joyful baby who laughed at peekaboo and music. Matthew stayed involved distantly, funding classes, ensuring protections, occasional dinners where Mrs. Garcia fussed and Sophia entertained, but mostly granting space for Lauren to stand independently. 1 year later, Lauren invited them to her small but cheerful apartment, decorated with second-hand finds made cozy. Mia, nearly 2, toddled showing Sophia toys. "I wanted you to see this," Lauren said, pride warming her voice. "My home. I got my associate's degree last week. Starting as office manager next month. Better pay. Growth." Her smile held hard-won strength. "It's beautiful," Matthew replied honestly. "Claire has Jessica's heart," Lauren added softly. "You both do. You could have given money and walked away. Instead, you gave me back myself." As they left, Sophia holding Mia's hand making her giggle, something shifted warmly in Matthew's chest. For 3 years he had survived, disconnected. That rainy day when Sophia pointed across the street changed everything, not forgetting Jessica, but remembering her lesson. Connection matters. Suffering calls us to respond. Resources bring responsibility. Driving home through Seattle streets that felt less indifferent, Matthew felt lighter. "Daddy, are you happy?" Sophia asked. The question surprised him. "You smile more now, like with Mommy." He crouched to her level later at home. "You know what? I am. Because you taught me seeing someone in need and choosing to care, even when hard or complicated, is what makes us human." They drove on. Rain now gentle, city lights soft. Somewhere Lauren read Mia a bedtime story, building a tomorrow, one page at a time. Matthew understood at last the measure of life lay not in accumulation, but in what given away, not achievements, but lives touched along the way. One cold afternoon, one child's clear vision, one choice to care when easier to look away, that had warmed 3 lives, reminding that even in life's deepest winters, compassion kindles enduring light. 1 year later, as autumn leaves turned gold along Seattle's streets, Matthew watched Sophia and Mia play together at a park, near the water, their laughter rising like sunlight breaking through clouds. Lauren joined them, her confidence radiant, a successful office manager pursuing her degree part-time, Mia thriving in stability. Matthew's own world had expanded too, family dinners blending their households, quiet evenings where vulnerability shared became strength multiplied, Jessica's spirit alive in every act of kindness passed forward. In the end, the fiercest storms reveal our truest connections, teaching that opening one's heart, no matter the season, leads exactly where belonging and renewal wait.